Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle what might be one of the most stressful parts of the entire IELTS exam, writing Task 2, and specifically, that all-important introduction. We're going to break down a super simple 3-line formula that will help you write a perfect one every single time. So let's dive right in.
Oh, we've all been there, right? The clock is ticking, you can feel the pressure mounting, and that blank page is just staring back at you. That moment of panic can cost you some serious time and confidence. But what if I told you there was a way to just skip that anxiety altogether?
Well, the good news is there is. Thanks to this really straightforward method from IELTS expert Fiona Wadham, you can put together a clear, high-scoring introduction in just a few minutes. Honestly, it's a total game changer, and it is surprisingly easy to get the hang of. So this is what it's all about today, a simple but really effective 3-line formula. You can think of it as your secret weapon for starting every essay with focus and, most importantly, with clarity. And here it is. That's it, just 3 steps. First, you write a neutral, factual, general statement. Second, you question the statement, which really just means you introduce the debate or the problem. And third, you clearly state your opinion and give a little preview of your essay plan. Simple, right? Let's see exactly how this works. Okay, so theory is one thing, but seeing it in action is way better. We're going to take apart an introduction for an essay question about keeping animals in zoos. Let's really see how this formula gets built line by line. So this is our first line, the general statement. Just notice how neutral that is. It doesn't take a side, it doesn't argue anything. It just states a simple, undeniable fact that sets the stage for the topic. That's all you need to do. And here comes step 2. Question the statement. See how the sentence brings in the 2 sides of the debate? It uses words like proponents and whereas to show that there's a conflict here. This is great because it shows the examiner you get that the issue isn't black and white. And finally, step 3. Give your opinion. The writer is being crystal clear here, right? They tell the examiner they're going to outline both arguments and then argue for their specific point of view. This one sentence acts as a perfect roadmap for the whole essay. The examiner knows exactly what's coming. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that works for a topic like zoos, but what about something else? Well, the absolute beauty of this formula is how versatile it is. It's like a skeleton key that can unlock pretty much any IELTS Task 2 question you get. Let's test that out. We'll apply it to a totally different topic, unpaid community service. So first, the neutral statement. Community service is generally seen as worthwhile. Hard to argue with that, right? It's a simple fact. Next, we introduce the conflict using however. Whether such service should consume high school curriculum time may be more controversial. And finally, that roadmap. In my opinion, schools should foster not only academic skills, but also and so on. See? The framework is exactly the same and it works perfectly. So why is this super simple formula so powerful? Well, it's not just about saving you time when you're stressed. It has some really big benefits that can directly boost your score, both for the examiner reading it and for you as you're writing. Let's think about the examiner for a second. They have to read hundreds of these essays. A formula like this just makes their job easier. It immediately shows them, okay, this person gets the question, they have a plan, and they're going to answer it directly. And trust me, a happy, non-confused examiner is way more likely to give you a good score. And for you, the writer, the benefits are huge. It basically forces you to think about both sides of the argument, which is a key part of getting a high score. It keeps your writing focused so you don't go off on a tangent. And get this, it naturally creates an intro that's about 50 words long, which is pretty much the perfect length. All right, now it is your turn. You know, the best way to really learn something is to actually do it. So let's put this formula to the test with a quick little exercise. So here's the challenge. On the very next slide, you are going to see a list of general statements on one side and following sentences on the other, all about modern technology. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to match them up logically. Okay, here we go. On the left, we've got 5 different general statements, and on the right, 5 following sentences that kick off the debate. Now's a great time to pause this explainer, try to match them up, and then just hit play when you're ready to see the answers. All right, are you ready for the answers? Let's walk through them. The first one, A, says that development is a priority for governments. So the most logical problem that could follow is sentence IV, which points out that focusing too much on that goal can make inequality grow. It follows that train of thought perfectly.
Next up, statement B is all about technology providing material goods. Well, the perfect counterpoint to that is V, which introduces a whole different idea that real happiness comes from relationships, not from having a lot of stuff. It directly questions the value of those material things.
For statement C, the idea that tech means an improvement in lifestyle is a great broad statement, and it is directly challenged by sentence I, which brings in the other side of that story. Sure, some people benefit, but others lose their jobs. Okay, statement D brings up the claim that technology is harming spiritual values. Sentence 3 immediately sets up a debate by pushing back on that, calling it an old-fashioned view. This pairing creates a really clear point of argument for an essay. And last but not least, the really broad statement in E about technology bringing many changes is perfectly focused by sentence II, which really intensifies the idea by saying that for some, these changes have actually caused enormous suffering. So, how did you do? So, after all of that, what's the one thing you really need to remember? It really all comes down to having a clear, simple plan before you even start writing. Let's just recap that formula one last time. Start neutral. Introduce the conflict, state your position. That is it. That's your key to unlocking a high-scoring introduction every single time you sit down for that exam. You see, your introduction isn't just a few sentences you have to get out of the way. It's the roadmap for your entire argument. It tells the examiner and it tells you exactly where you're going. And with this formula, you now have the map. Good luck.